Hey folks, today we're going to talk about seats. So yeah, have a seat, I guess. Alright, so you're looking at me from the inside of the Exomotive. This is kind of what the view of your, I don't know, drink or lap or elbow would look like. But anyway, with the Exocet there are some interesting hurdles to overcome. So let's take a look, shall we? Now I'm going to show you some of the issues here, what I did, and how I would make it better for the next guy. Okay, so these are sliders. They allow you to pull up on the bar and then the seat can move back and forth. You know, it's just like a normal car. Anyway, to attach them to the car, or the seats, I mean you can put the seats directly on the floor. You've got this tube right here that runs the width of the chassis over there, and then this tube right here that does the same. Excuse me. Now you'll see I put a bolt here, bolt over there, come over here, there's a bolt hidden under there, and a bolt hidden under there, right in the center of the frame there, pretty much. Now, these two beams right here on the front and on the back, those are placed and spaced out for stock Miata seat rails, which is fantastic if you want to use the stock Miata seats. Those of you who have driven a stock Miata know that yeah, their seats they're not very good for holding you in, especially in a car that can handle, you know, throw some sticky rubber on there, it's kind of hopeless. So I've got some other seats here. These are Sparco Sprints, you know, just kind of your entry-level seat that's made by a reputable company. So it's not like a, you know, parts store special. I actually feel like I'll be safe in one of these if anything did happen in a wreck or, you know, what have you. So you have a couple options for mounting these. You got holes on the bottom. There's a couple over there and there. Or you got these side mount ones. Well, the cool thing about the side mounts is that's what these brackets here are for. You put your bolts here or one of these slots, and this adjusts how high your back of the seat is. This adjusts how high the front of the seat is. You can mix and match, so this will allow you to tilt the seat at an angle. Well, when you got a vertical seat back, like here, I'll kind of try and tilt it in the way the bottom of the seat cushion is. It's kind of like, you know, it's a 90-degree angle basically, and when you've got a helmet on, it pushes your head forward about that much, about 2 inches. Well, if you just bolt these seats straight to the floor or straight to a bracket, it's going to be kind of uncomfortable because it's going to push your head forward. It'll be like you're leaning forward, and that's not a real comfortable way to sit, especially for a length of time. So I bought these side mount brackets. You could probably make your own, I'm sure. I was trying to get this done in a relatively short time frame, so I just bought them. There's a few options available as well. Anyhow, to mount the sliders to the floor, you can see that, let me scoot this forward here. Pardon the noise. No, it actually wasn't that bad. You'll see if I take the camera down here, to bridge the gap between the beams, there's a thin piece of flat stock. Right here, that's the very, very bottom layer. Is to bridge that so that then you can bolt the sliders to the, you know, the cross rail, I guess you would call it. You won't be able to see the front ones, but anyway, there's 2 bolts that hold the sliders to the bracket I made, and then the bracket bridges the gap between the main bars. Now, here's my thinking, is that these little pieces of steel here that I had to make, well, they took me some time. And perhaps more importantly, on an Exocet, they weigh something. I know something is a generic term, and no, they're not heavy. I mean, you're probably talking maybe 2 pounds between all the brackets for the whole car. Well, for the seats anyhow. Thing is, they're not necessary. Now I know what you're thinking. How would you fix it then? Well, see, if it were my call, I would take and make this bar and this bar, I would space them a little closer so you didn't need that bracket. And what that would allow you to do would be to mount these sliders straight to these bars. No adapter necessary. My little adapter bracket, I mean, it's literally just a piece of flat stock, but not only does it weigh something, but there are a couple additional points of potential failure. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, the harness is what will hold you in the event of an accident anyway. It's not the seat, but more hardware, more connections, more hardware, more possible points of failure. I like to minimize those where I can, especially on a minimalist car. So you move the front bracket back, just enough so that you can mount the sliders straight to the bars. Eliminates the bracket. Not only does it eliminate the bracket, saves you a lot of time, saves you a lot of time fabricating the bracket, drilling through the bracket, which you have 4 holes per bracket, 4 brackets, that's 16 holes. And they're pretty good size holes too, 10 mil, 3/8. So, it's a fair bit of drilling time. I mean, I'd estimate I've probably got, 3, maybe 4 hours. Probably about 3 hours in the brackets, making them nice, and by the time I paint them and all that, so they don't rust. It's got some time in it. So, you could eliminate 2, 3, 4, 5 hours by the time you get this all fitted up. That's a pretty serious time, that's half an afternoon, that's half a day. So, get rid of one little step at a time, and that's how you make things efficient. So, as for what I've got going on with this all thread here, this is just a piece of all thread on both sides. I'll zoom in here. You got a nut on this side, nut and washer. Nut and washer on this back side. And then you follow it along, nut and washer. And then another nut and washer. This is so you attach these when the seat is in the center of all this. And what that does is, it's kind of like when you're fixing a body up. It keeps keeps things from moving on you. And the reason for that is I know that the seat will fit in this gap, so that when I went to drill these bolt holes that hold it to this side of the chassis, I know that I can now remove these all thread pieces and put the seat right in there, and she'll hold. Well, it's a theory anyway. I'll find out in a minute. Anyhow, I think that's about all I had, really. I guess the whole reason for eliminating that bracket, besides the technical reasons that I pointed out, is that I have seen a lot of pictures of these cars. I don't think I've seen even a single one of them on stock seats. They're just not what you use in a car like this. I mean, they will not hold you in. You'll be all over the place. So almost every one of these I've seen has some sort of sport seat. So why not just eliminate the variable? Or go for the most common option, if you will. The most common configuration. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So anyway, I think this video is running actually pretty long, I'd say. So I think we'll just say hello to our little friend here. Hi, squirrel. Have a good one, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care.